Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ted. I'm your coach of the Sky Strikers. And today I'm bringing you just a little short thing here, going a quick rundown of all the teams in the British Pokemon League Premier Division. Since there's going to be no show or any ranking of sorts or no official ranking of sorts, I'm just going to give my quick rundown of every team, what I think, what I think are the best cores on each team, with what I think they could do better. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. And if you guys can't tell, I'm a little bit sick, but I'm gonna power through this, and hopefully it turns out right. So yeah, let's just jump into it. So first up we have the Chilling Chespins, which is sick. Um, they have the Hydreigon, Meowscarada, Glimmora, Spearow, Taurus Blaze, Fan, Gothorita, Venomoth, Bronzor, Shreedle, and Garchomp. So the main thing here on this team is probably that Hydreigon. It provides a lot of support, being it has access to Tailwind this generation. It is the only Tailwind that I know of on this team right at the moment, since Fan does not get it, and neither does Venomoth, so yeah, that's the only Tailwinds that are on this team, but I think they'll be alright. It has a good amount of coverage, so it can hit on both the physical and special side, which I like about. However, since there's no more Dynamax, unfortunately, you can't take advantage of like max Airstreams and stuff like that. But I think with the Terra, it's even better with Terra. I think so. Yeah, looking forward to see what it does. And obviously, Masquerada is another good Dark type. It doesn't have to run Protein; it can run Overgrow, the Sash set. So there's that. Hits pretty hard with the Flower Trick. Has Player Off, U-Turn, Knock Off, Seed Bomb. The other moves, there's really good for its coverage. Cool. As for the rest of the team, I think everything covers pretty much well. The Bronzor provides the Trick Room mode there for that, as well as the Gothorita as well. But mainly the Bronzor with the Eviolite, being able to bulk out a few hits. Provides that Trick Room support really well. And back to Gothorita, provides the Fake Out support as well, with the addition of Trick Room. Has screens, can do Encore as well, so a lot of good support there. Taurus Blades is probably the most underrated out of the forms, I believe, in my opinion, from what I've seen. But I think both function the same way, since they have the same move pool and do similar things. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see what they do with the Taurus Blaze. As for everything else, like everything else hits hard. Garchomp, Azumarill, Glimmora, they hit hard on their own front. So those are good things to have, especially on this team. But I think without them would lack a little bit of pressure. But Hydreigon and Masquerade alone provide a lot of pressure. So yeah, probably one of the interesting teams I've looked in the Premier Division. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see what they do. Next up is the Polito Belly Drummers, pushed by Encore VGC. So they have the Goldango, Salamence, Pelipper, Toadscruel, Bellybolt, Braska, Heracross, Dreadnought, Quillfish, Puamo, and the Weavile. Okay, so right off the bat, obviously they have the rain mode with the Pelipper, Dreadnought, and the Quillfish. That's their main rain mode. However, in addition to that, Goldango, probably the main threat on this team, hits really hard with Specs, Life Orb, and even though its move pool is pretty diminished, it just has Ghost and the Make It Rain move, so it's basically that, but it has other moves as well. But its move pool is not entirely great, but it hits extremely hard. And in addition to that, Make It Rain doesn't lower its special attack by 2, but instead it lowers it by 1, so that's very good in terms of positioning yourself and switching out. Yeah, this Goldango is just a really broken mod, and being able to ignore status moves with this ability is really great for that reason. Salamence, really good Intimidate user. It's one out of the two on this team, the other being Quillfish. It does have access to Moxie, so it can't use that. In a situation where your opponent is on low on HP, you can bring Salamence in and just KO it and get that Moxie boost. Pair that up with like a Dragon Dance set with the Salamence is great. So that's something that opponents have to keep an eye out for. Obviously, Pelipper provides the Tailwind support, provides the rain for the Swift Swimmers, which is Dreadnought and Quillfish. So, yeah. It also hits pretty hard with the Hurricane. No Scald, unfortunately. A lot of water types appreciate Scald, but we lost that this generation, so fortunately, can't be running Scald. It does have Hydro Pump, so it can't hit hard with that. Toadstool, probably the most underrated support Pokemon right now at the moment. Even though it's being used a lot, I feel like it's underrated. People don't really appreciate what it does and don't take into account for it into really, especially in draft. Not so much in competitive, since you do have to be careful a bit. But in draft, I think it's a different case. Does have Rage Powder, Spore, and also gets Trick Room, so 3 good viable moves to have on this Pokemon. Yeah, nothing else to be said about it. Billy Bolt is probably the odd one on this team, I feel. His ability allows it to, if you take a hit, you can charge up your electric moves. So, yeah, there's something else for that. I don't really like it on this team, but I'm looking forward to see what it does. So, yeah, we'll see. Rabaska, one of the 2 Pokemon this generation that gets Revival Blessing. So, you guys don't know what it does. If one of your Pokemon is fainted, you can click Revival Blessing and you can choose to revive one of your fainted Pokemon in your party and restores it to half HP. So, yeah, pretty good move if you want to position yourself and, let's say, revive your Goldangle or the Salamence and just bring it in and clean up. I think that's a great way to utilize it there. Heracross, the other Moxie user on this team, I just noticed, does get Guts as well as Swarm, so all 3 good abilities. Hits pretty hard with Close Combat, Mega Horn, Rock Slide. Hits really hard with Smooth Pull, so. Dreadnought, like I mentioned before, is the Swift Swimmer, the main Swift Swimmer user in this team. Probably also one of the Terra Pokemon on this team as well, I would imagine. So, yeah. Keep an eye out for it, guys. Keep an eye out. Quillfish, the secondary Intimidate user, can run Eviolite, since it did get an evolution in Gen 9, and not an evolution, since it got an evolution in Legends Arceus, not Gen 9, sorry guys. It got an evolution in Legends Arceus, so you can run Eviolite. Yeah, pretty bulky. Flamo, not as good at it as its evolution, I feel, but it does provide Fake Out, and that's pretty much it. Its move pool is pretty abysmal, not the same as its evolution, but you know, hey, it's there. And then Weavile, the better Fake Out. Yeah, the better Fake Out, obviously, on this team. I really like Weavile. Ice Silver Crash, Knockoff, stuff like that. Yeah, it doesn't get Knockoff. Ice Silver Crash, Throw, Chop, Protect. Good set there. So, yeah, nothing else to be said. Let's see here. Next up, we have the Space City PC Kush 5 Moon Base God. They have the Annihilate, Volcarona, Kilowattrel, Klefki, Haxorus, Clawitzer, Sandaconda, Espeon, Cryogonal, Dunsparce, and the Garganackle. Yeah, I really wanted Annihilate. I really wanted to use it in this draft, but sadly I did not get it, which I expected, but, you know, But yeah, I really like Annihilate for what it does. Has Defiant, so you can switch it into Intimidate. Does a lot of things well. Has a bulk up set. Can run Drain Punch, Close Combat, Rage Fist, which boosts its attack power each time you get hit with a physical move, or any move actually. So you can increase your power by doing that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Annihilate. Like, it's just super strong. Volcarona, obviously, the main redirection with the Rage Powder here. Yeah, it's just outside of that, it does get the Quiver Dance, so it can set up and just click Fiery Dance alongside of that, and do a bunch of other things. Struggle Bug, Giga Drain, Heat Wave, lots of things that it can do. Kilowattrel provides the Tailwind mode, and with its ability Wind Power, it charges up its electric type moves at the end of each turn, or at the end of that turn, and it can use the Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, power those moves up, and just do lots of damage. Yeah, that's it for Kilowattrel. Klefki, looking at this team, it's main Trick Room user, I would say here. Even though this team is particularly fast, you could see Trick Room come here, especially paired with the Garganackle there. But outside of that, gets Prankster Screens, obviously. Can do Rain Dance, Sunny Day, lots of other stuff as well. So another thing to keep an eye out. Haxorus, I really like Haxorus on this team. Good decent Dragon type. It's pretty hard. Still can Dragon Dance, do Dragon Claw, Outrage, lots of good stuff from Haxorus. Clawitzer, again, and coincide with the Trick Room mode. It can be in the Trick Room mode and just clicks, Mega Launcher, Boosted Water Pulse, Dark Pulse, or Sphere. Lots of stuff. So yeah, I really like Clawitzer. I really like what it does. So I'm looking forward to see what they do with it. Sandaconda, again, another Pokemon to be running under Trick Room. To run a coil set and run Glare as well. Excuse me, if you don't want to be running Trick Room. Espeon, outside of Klefki, if you don't want to run Trick Room, I guess you could run it on Espeon, but you don't really want to be running that on Espeon because Espeon's really fast. So you probably be running, want to be running the Calm Mindset on this thing. Calm Mind, Store Power, Shadow Ball, Protect, probably. I can run the other sets as well. Has Skill Swap as well, which is interesting. Yeah, nothing else. Cryogonal, I don't really like the Ice type on this team particularly, but I think it's alright. It's pretty fast, has Freeze Dry, so you can't hit the Water type super effectively. Gets Recover, has Haze, gets Aurora Veil if you want to use Snowscape. Yeah, there's that. Dunsparce. I really like this thing. Pair that up with the Eviolite, super bulky. Can use a coil set or a glare set. It's similar to Sandaconda, but it's even better, especially on the defensive sides. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see what they do with it. I really love Dunsparce. And then finally the Garganackle, really strong Pokemon under Trick Room. Hits pretty hard. Its ability Purifying Assault, similar to Goldango, blocks all status moves, so you can't burn it, poison, paralyze it. Sorry. Yeah, and it has other two good abilities, with being Clear Body and Sturdy. So yeah, overall, a really good Pokemon. I have it in another league. It's really strong, so looking forward to see what they do. But overall, really solid team. There are probably a few things I would change. Probably the Cryogonal I would probably get rid of for something else. But outside of that, like, I think it's pretty good. Next up, we have my buddy Aaron T. Marshall, coach of the Inglorious Surfers. Probably one of my favorite teams, just looking at it straight up. I really like the Sun mode here, especially with the Torkoal and the Lilligant. That's really strong, paired up with After You and just spamming Eruption. Is really great. The Trick Room mode is definitely apparent here. With the King Gambit here. I don't think Indeedee Male does not get Trick Room. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I have to do my research again on this team if he does have Trick Room. I don't think he does, but I could be wrong. The Indeedee Male may get Trick Room, but I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, outside of that, Drifblim has Tailwind, not Trick Room. Sorry, guys. Paired that up with the second Surge from the Indeedee. You can use Unburden, proc the second Seed, and just click Tailwind and allow your other Pokemon to be really fast, like Passimian, the Dugtrio, the Goodra, and even the King Gambit. It doesn't necessarily have to be under Trick Room. It can be under Tailwind and just hit really fast. Yeah. I really enjoy this team. Even though it looks really weird in some cases, especially with the Jigglypuff and the Avalugg, those are two really weird spots on this team. But overall, I really like it. Not one of my favorites going into this season, but Aaron has surprised me many times before. So we'll just have to see what he does, and I'm looking forward to that. Next up, we have Jenny, coach of the PSV. I forgot what that stands for again. Matt, if you're watching this, remind me. Make sure to ping me and remind me what that means. So she has the Dondozo, Scizor, Tatsugiri, Gardevoir, Lycanroc, Zoroark, Appleton, Frostmoth, Hippopotas, Flareon, and the Palmot. Yeah. And if you guys didn't know, I managed to get into the Premier Division because of the promotion, and I only got here because I used Dondozo with Tatsugiri. Like, I have to say that. So, and that coincides with this. Dondozo Tatsugiri is really broken. If you can't stop it, then you're just gonna get annihilated. Like, there's nothing you can really much do if you don't have Haze or Clear Smog or anything like that to get rid of its stat boost. You're pretty much done for. Unless you can crit it multiple times and get into range of your other Pokemon to KO it, but outside of that, you can't really do much to it. It's just going to be really hard to take down. So everybody has to keep in mind of that, and just keep an eye out for that. Scizor really strong this generation. Terrestrialization provides like a secondary Technician boost, and pair that up with a Terra Steel Technician boosted Bullet Punch is going to do so much damage. So yeah, if you don't have something to stop its priority, then you're kind of fucked. And for the rest of the team, I think everything else is pretty lackluster. Lycanroc would appreciate the sand better from outside of Hippopotas. Like, I would like to see probably a better sand mode, but utilizing the lower tiers like Hippopotas is great for the Lycanroc midday, but the sand mode is not really that great. Yeah, sure, you can run the Focus Sash set and just click Endeavor and be annoying, but there are ways to take it out, so probably like to see something better from that. Zoroark, a little bit gimmicky. I love it for what it does for illusion. Just being able to have like a mini substitute in a way, and be another Pokemon and just stand there until you get hit and reveal its identity. Yeah, I love it for that. Palmot, obviously the second Pokemon that gets Revolve Blessing. Um, I guess you can pair that up with the Dondozo whenever it goes down if you have Tatsugiri still alive. Now I don't know how that functions. I think Commander only activates one time. We'll just have to see how that interaction works. Because I haven't seen it do that before, or I haven't seen it been done that on ladder. But we can find out in draft and see how that plays out. So yeah, overall, really strong team. Some of the lower tiers are a little bit questionable, but again, they're lower tiers. Like, what do you expect? So yeah, we'll see what happens. Next up, we have the new Castle Thunderous, pushed by Big Dog Dave, or Dave for short. They have the Tyranitar, Grimmsnarl, Houndstone, Gastrodon, Toxtricity, Ursaring, Fletchinder, Altaria, Fortress, Toxapex, and the Rotom Wash. Yeah, I really love the Tyranitar Houndstone. I have that in another link, but in singles. Houndstone is really strong. It's not as strong as it is in singles. Its Last Respects move will only be, I think, only 100. I think it's 150 or 200 base power. I can't remember. In doubles, I have to check that out. To check on that. But it's still gonna hit really hard. If it's the last one standing, with the Last Respects, pair that up with like the Scarf outside the Sand Rush, and yeah, it's gonna be really fast. So that's another thing that players have to keep an eye out. Moving alongside of that, Grimmsnarl provides the Prankster screen support. Has Parting Shot this generation, as well as its pre-evos. So you just spam that, not in front of Dark types, but in front of other Pokemon that don't like Parting Shot, and just switch on to something else that can take the hit better. So yeah, I love it for that. But outside of that, it does have Thunder Wave as well for speed control. So yeah. Gastrodon, I feel like Gastrodon is not as good as it was last generation, but especially here in the early meta, I think it's alright. Not having Scald kind of hurts it a bit, but it does get Chilling Water as well, like every other water type. But yeah, I don't feel like it's good as last generation. I just have that feeling. Next up is Toxtricity. Yeah, Specs Boom Burst, Terra normal. It's gonna do so much damage. Next, the only ghost type is the Houndstone. So if you really want to use that strat, they're gonna have to pair it up with the Houndstone. And yeah, and do lots of damage with that. Yeah. But outside of that, it does other things, it can do Overdrive, Sludge Bomb, stuff like that. It's pretty hard with specs. Ursaring, again, another Pokemon that got an evolution in Legends Arceus, can use the Eviolite, or it can use the Guts ability and pair it up with the Flame Orb, and just use Stab, Terra Normal, Facade, and do lots of damage with that. Yeah, that's nothing much else to be said about it. I think this is the only thing I see so far that it does. Fletchinder provides the Tailwind mode. The Gale Wings can do the Brave Bird. I think it does get Brave Bird. Could be wrong, but I believe it does get Brave Bird. So you can do Gale Wings, Brave Bird, Gale Wings, Tailwind. They do have to be careful, fake out like usual. So yeah. And also an item that you can put on it is probably Cover Cloak, which stops fake out, obviously. Being one of the new items this generation, so yeah. Standard stuff. Altaria, good dragon type on this team, really bulky. Gets Cotton Guard, so you can boost his defense and just be really bulky and annoying. Fortress, I think it's a good low tier steel type. Not my favorite. I don't really like it in this format. I'll probably change it for something else, but yeah, I would probably look for something else. I don't really see much. I don't see too much use for the Fortress. Yeah. Toxapex, again, another water type was heavily nerfed because of the Scald not being in Gen 9, which is unfortunate. But it is the Haze user, so it can go up against that Dondozo, not be too scared of it. But outside of that, it doesn't really do too much. And then finally, the Run and Wash, really good hardening special attacker. Can do Trick Scarf, Trick Choice Band even. Yeah. Sucks that it does not get the Electro Web like its other forms do. Well, all of them lost it, but sucks that it doesn't get that. That would be pretty useful for this team for speed control. But yeah, overall, pretty mid team, I would say. No offense to Dave, but the only thing I really like is probably the Tyranitar Houndstone. Probably my favorite combo that I've used so far. Next up, we have Crizzle, coach of the South Carnosaurs. They have it's South Croydon. I think that's how you say Croydon. I'm not sure. I'll just say Croydon. So they have the Maushold, Amoonguss, Mudsdale, Slowking, Tinkaton, Colossal, Luxray, Muck, Scyther, Glaceon, and the Umbreon. Let's see here. So, probably the main thing here is the Colossal mode. Just looking about it here, I don't think they have Aqua Jet. Yeah, I don't think they have a water move to hit the Colossal, so they can't really do too much with that. Although I think the Slowking does get surfed, but it's pretty slow. Yeah. Probably the one major things I would probably change is probably get an Aqua Jet user for the Colossal to utilize that more and just click Terra, probably like a Terra Water or Terra Grass, and just click Aqua Jet into it so it can be resisted. And just get that speed boost off would be great. Yeah, that's probably the only thing I would change on this team. Everything else looks really solid. The Maushold provides the Follow Me support. Obviously, outside of that, it gets Population Bomb. Pair that up with like a Loaded Dice or a King's Rock. Hit multiple times and also get a flinch, or a chance of getting a flinch is so annoying. You don't want to face it. You don't want to face that. It's just really annoying, and if it gets itself set up with Tidy Up, there's just no stopping it. You just have to hope you have a good amount of bulk, and you have to have Haze or Clear Smog, similar to Dondozo, but a little bit more manageable than Dondozo, but it's still very annoying. Obviously, Amoonguss provides the support here on this team with the Spore and the Rage Powder, but can be run like a Toxic set and be stally. Obviously, get Sludge Bomb, Pollen Puff for recovery into your own Pokemon. So yeah, pretty good. Mudsdale, pretty good Trick Room Pokemon. Paired that with the Slowking, like I mentioned before. Really good Trick Room synergy there. Tinkaton provides the Fake Out support here. Although I wish Game Freak gave it huge power. That would have been so great and make it so much better. But yeah, provides the Fake Out support, but Gigaton Hammer, even without that, like it hits super hard. 100 in base power, 100 base power Steel type move. With 100% accuracy is really great. So yeah. And then the rest of the team is pretty mediocre. Double evolutions, you'd love to see that. Um, I don't, even though I've been seeing Umbreon on the ladder quite a bit, I don't really get why it's getting so much usage. I would understand last generation, but this time around, I don't really see too much use for it. I don't, like, I get it, it's bulky. It's bulky, of course. It has lost Toxic, unfortunately. But it just have, Foul Play, Snarl, Baby Doll Eyes. So it still can be bulky. I just don't see too much use for it. Again, I could be wrong and just get completely destroyed by it during the regular season, my Crystal, but yeah, we'll just see. And Muck, Scyther, and Glaceon, yeah, I don't really see too much usage on this team. Scyther is the only Tailwind mode, which is concerning. I would probably look into other options, but hey, do your own thing and we'll just see what happens. And then the Luxray provides the Intimidate Pressure. Does have Guts as well, so you can run that. So yeah. Overall, pretty decent team. I don't really like the low tiers. I'll probably change it up for something else, but overall, I think it's pretty decent. Next up is my team. Let the logos load up. Okay. So we have the Murkrow, Palafin, Espathra, Breloom, Slaking, Salazzle, Lily, Zangoose, Magneton, Haunter, and the Noivern. Yeah, going to this draft, I was kind of perplexed. Sorry. I ended up waking up late because I overslept, like usual. Pretty tired that day, so lots of Pokemon that I wanted were already off the board. So unfortunately, I had to go on a different route and pick the Murkrow for my first pick. But I think that was pretty great. The team that I built, I think, even though it's pretty frail, especially on the Spadef side, I think we can manage with it. The Murkrow and the Palafin combo is really strong. Even though Palafin really has a high speed stat at a base 100, boosting that up with the Tailwind, Prankster Tailwind is great. And just switching it out either with an eject button or just hard switching out or with flip turn. Bringing it in its hero form, getting the 160 base power is extremely strong, and then in addition with Tailwind making it really fast, I think that's going to be really hard to deal with and really annoying. Espathra, I really like its usage of Frisk. But outside of that, it does get Opportunist and Speed Boost. Speed Boost, you can just do the normal Protect and get that +1 in speed, and just click an attack move after. And it's also part of a core, a very sneaky core, that I do plan on using during this regular season. So I'm looking forward to see how that goes well for me. Sneaky little tech that it has that I want to use, so we'll just see what happens. Breloom, obviously, good toxic or poison healing. With the toxic orb, standard set, Spore, Mach Punch, Protect, Bullet Seed or Seed Bomb. Yeah, hits pretty hard on the physical side as well, so, and a decent support Pokemon. Slaking, again, is similar to Palafin, having that 160 base power and then 100 speed. I do have ways of getting rid of Trant, so yeah, opponents will have to figure out what I do with that, so yeah. Little something to keep in mind and something that I'll keep in the back for quite a bit. So yeah, we'll just see what happens. Salazzle provides the fake out pressure, fast fire type, and having the ability Corrosion to poison the steel types is also great. my team doesn't really deal well with steel types, honestly, so having Salazzle here, outside of Breloom to deal with the steel types is great, so looking forward to use it. Clearly, only reason I drafted is for the Moody. I really like Moody. I want to have a chance to use it, so we're just to see. Probably go for the Moody sub option, but I can do many other things, so looking forward to it. And then Zangoose and the Magneton, probably the two Pokemon, or they are the two Pokemon that I used in the promotional, promotion tournament, and I didn't get to use a lot, honestly. Well, I used Magneton more, but I didn't get to use the Zangoose as much, so I wanted to draft it again and take another shot at it, see how well it does. And during the mid-season, if I don't find it useful, I can probably trade for something else. But yeah, I really like these two. Obviously, Magneton is probably the only one of the, I think it's one of 3 lines that get Electro Web this generation, which I was glad to snag up. So yeah, really good speed control, good EV user, and yeah. And then the final two are kind of paired well together. Noivern, Specs Boomburst, similar to the Toxtricity, Specs Boomburst Terra Normal, right next to the Ghost type Haunter. Is great ignoring since it's a normal move. Boomburst does hit all sides, so you can hit yourself, which is unfortunate with that, but pair that up with the Haunter, and just being able to freely click Boomburst is great, and it's muchly appreciated. So yeah, something small that I'm excited to use. Overall, I think my team is pretty solid. Probably not the best team in this draft, but I think I got good options, and I'm looking forward to use it. Next up, we have Dicey, coach of the Sacramento Score Bunnies. They have the Sylveon, Hariyama, Abomasnow, Sea Titan, Oranguru, Mismagius, Ampharos, Beartic, Skuntank, Wishcash, and the Dragalogy. So first thing off the bat, their Hail mode is really strong with that Abomasnow, Sea Titan, and the Beartic core. All 3 ice types, Sea Titan and Beartic, get the Slush Rush, and are good users of the Water type Terra. I think that's probably the most common thing that I've been seeing so far on ladder and in draft. But they can run other options as well, so we just have to see about that. And Sea Titan can run the Belly Drum set. I don't think, they don't have redirection, but if they want to play a little bit risky, then they can go for the Belly Drum set and do that. Yeah, really good team overall. I'm just gonna wrap it up here real quick. But yeah, I don't really have problems on this team. Probably, I think it's one of my favorites so far that I've seen. Yeah, lots of good cover options, lots of good Terra options. Overall, really solid team. Next up, we have the Miami Heat, coached by Lat. He has the Talonflame, Dragapult, Sableye, Farigiraf, Pincurchin, Medicham, Camerupt, Phalanx, Masquerain, Sudowoodo, and the Arcanine. I think it's probably one of the strongest teams in this draft, honestly. And that's not saying much as well. Lots of other good teams, but I think it's probably one of the strongest ones. Dragapult obviously really hits strong on the physical and special side of things. Does get double screens as well, but there are other Pokemon that get double screens, so probably not something that they're exploring to use, but again, really hits strong on both sides. So something to keep out for. Talonflame provides the support with Gale Wing's Tailwind. Gale Wing's Brave Bird hits really strong. Flare Blitz, Protect. So yeah, that's good stuff. Sableye gets access to the double screens this generation, which is great for it. Paired it up with the Prankster. It's kind of like a little mini Grimmsnarl. So yeah, for Garaf, three pretty decent abilities. Probably the two best ones are the Armor Tail and Chuchu. Armor Tail blocks all priority moves, including Prankster priority moves. So that's something that's going to be very helpful on this team that don't really like priority, especially on that Talonflame. So yeah, we'll just to see how well they position themselves to use that. Pincurchin, the only Pokemon that gets electric terrain. Unfortunately, there are no Paradox Pokemon, so Pincurchin feels kind of useless here. I don't see too much of its use here, but I could be wrong. I got destroyed by it last generation, so who says that I won't do? Oh, that won't happen again this generation. So yeah, we'll just see. Medicham, really good fake out support. High jump kick, skill swap. Skill swapping pure power is great. So yeah. And then moving on quickly here, these four right here, Camera, Phalanx, Masquerade, Sudowoodo, I think all provide their own little thing. I don't really like Sudowoodo that much. I guess you can Terra it and do Terra Grass, Trailblaze like in game. But outside of that, not much. You do have two Intimidate user, Masquerade and Arcanine, but Arcanine doesn't have to be running Intimidate. It can be running Flash Fire or the Justified. I don't think they have. Oh no, Figurath gets beat up. That's one thing I forgot. So you can be running the beat up strat and do that. Sorry guys. And then finally we have the Dynamos Deoxys, coached by Lumaris. They have the Armarouge, Indeedee, Grafai, Halucha, Dachshund, Earthworm, Fungus, Lokix, the Dene, Wugtrio, and the Magnezone. Really weird team. Really strong at the beginning. These four alone make up the majority of the team. Everything else seems like outside of Magnezone, like everything else seems like a question mark to me. I don't like Dachshund as a fairy type on this team, honestly, in all honesty. I'll probably get something else or have something Terra Fairy and do that instead, but I don't really like Dachshund in the doubles format. I like it more in singles, but yeah, that's just my personal opinion. Earthworm, really good. If you can spam Earthquake, I think Halucha gets Earthquake, but outside of that, you can't really utilize that Earth Eater. Obviously, you can switch it into an Earthquake and just gain health back if you're low on the Earthworm. But I would probably like to see another Earthquake user and just spam that for recovery. Yeah. Fungus obviously provides the Rage Powder, Spore, stuff like that. Outside of that, not much. I don't feel like it's the same thing as a Mungus. Similar set, but not the same. Low kicks, again, I don't really like low kicks. Obviously it's unique typing with Dark and Bug. I just don't really like it. Yes, it can hit hard with Choice Band First Impression, but you can block that if you predict it well. So yeah, I just don't really like low kicks. Dedenne provides the fake out pressure, has Nuzzle, Entrainment, stuff like that. Wugtrio, Wugtrio is probably another useless Pokemon here on this generation. It gets triple dive, but you probably want to pair that with Colossal Team. I don't really see too much usage here. You can probably do Memento stuff and switch out, but it does fade, so that's probably the only thing I could see from it, outside of just speed up stuff and Aquajet. I'm not sure, honestly. And finally, the Magnezone. Good speed control with Electro Web. Can do Iron Defense, Body Press, Mirror Coat. So yeah, overall, really solid team. Some of these tiers right here are a little bit concerning, but I think they do okay. But yeah, that's it for my personal opinion and quick rundown of each team. Sorry if I rushed it a bit. Kind of feel a little bit under the weather, but I think I covered pretty much everything. I'm looking forward to the season. But yeah, we'll just see what happens. And yeah, until next time, guys, peace.